All right, YouTube says I'm live. I guess that means I'm live. You in the comments, tell me things. Okay, so if you're watching this as like a replay, the plan is, we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna kind of bullshit for about 5 minutes. If anybody's got any questions about like the canteen pouch video that just premiered a minute ago, if anybody's got any questions about that, I can answer those questions. And ideally, sometime maybe 5-10 minutes into this, I'll get into the main topic of the video. So if you don't want to listen to me talk to the people, then just skip ahead. And if you want to listen to me talk to the people, then just keep doing what you're doing. Oh, look at that. My phone tells me I'm live. That's good to know. George, what's up? Are you the person that's still here? What's going on? So it is like sunset in the Ozarks. Rain coming in. That's kind of cool. Went and sat out on the porch because it seemed like a good idea. It's fucking hot still. I thought the weather was going to kind of knock off the heat, and it just kind of didn't. It's been a little bit cooler than normal, but then the storm coming in just made it real muggy, and that kind of sucked. George says we're loud and clear. 5x5. Thank you. I know what 5x5 means. I don't know why it means that. Tuning in from... Okay, what part of Missouri is that? Howell County. Where's that at? Where's that at? Where you is? Where do you be? I need to trim my freaking mustache. I'm getting shit-eated. This stuff I'm drinking, this is mulberry mead that a friend of mine made from the mulberry tree out in the yard. I brought him some berries. He made me some stuff. It's really good. Really good. George, where are you at? What part of the state are you in? Board County North. Cool. You know where Joplin is? Near there. That general area. All right, we're still just a couple of minutes in. Maybe some other people will show up. We shall see. Some cleanup. Like after the thing, like the big thing. You know the thing. My favorite presidential quote. It's not my favorite. It's up there, though. You know the thing. There we go. There's Spags. There's Spags. We can start the party now. We can start partying now. Yeah, the thing. Well, then, thank you for helping out with the thing, George. Obviously, that was a big deal. Outside of the 4 years as in the Marines, I've been around here. I lived in town when that happened. Didn't get hit. Missed me by a mile or two, but she was wild. Really, honestly, it was really one of the most interesting / fun summers that I've ever had, which is weird because outside of that event is a good time. The event, though, fucking 0 of 10. George, I am considering the SNS. Is it SNS Training Solutions? The Winter Forge in January, because their gear and uniform standards are a little bit looser than One Shepherd. I'm super interested in One Shepherd. I don't have very much gear that's just straight OD. Like, that's the biggest hang up for me. Chuck is here. Watched my canteen video. That's cool. Which canteen pouch video? The one that just premiered or the one from last week? I made a canteen pouches video and I made a canteen pouch video. Speaking of that, anybody in here got any questions about the canteen or canteens video before I get on to the topic? Any questions? I did also just get done working out right before that video premiered. I've never really deadlifted before up until the last couple of months. I had Heather at Tactical Response show me how to deadlift without hurting myself, which was great. And then I started getting strength coaching from Barbell Logic in the middle of July. So I think I'm 22 workouts in. Let's see. So 22. 20 workouts in. I just lifted deadlift, one set of 5, 285 pounds. So that's cool. I was doing box squat for a while and then got moved to regular squat. So I'm at 225. Just did 3 sets of 5 out there about an hour ago. All right. Comments. George Washington, what are your thoughts on the soft 2-quart canteens? I think they hold 2 quarts of water. No, they're cool. They're big. And so actually I've got one right here. It's about, like, where do you put this thing? Because it's big. They do fit in saw pouches really nicely. And if you've got some sort of bigger pouch on like a pack, you can use these. Let's see. Can you see any of these packs? Behold my stuff. I haven't really used these much. I've got 3 of them now. I've got one out in the car, and I've got these 2. They've got this little cap, this little plug right here. And I've got this thing called a swig rig from otsurplus.com. That is onethiefsurplus.com. I like the website. They've got good stuff. The dude was a Marine, so that's cool. The issue I have with this, the whole purpose of this little plug. It's this thing called a swig rig. It's just a straw that goes in here that connects to like a camelback hose. So you can drink out of this with a hose, which I really like because I'm way more likely to drink out of a hose than I am to fish out of a canteen. The thing I'm not sure about is this plug. It comes out really easy. I haven't done a hike with these yet. I'm concerned that this is going to come open while I'm walking. The concept is cool, and I think the way they have it rigged up for like an Nalgene might be better. This, I am not sure about this plug. I'm not sure about it. Not sure. I really want this to work. But we'll see. Chuck, yep, water. All the water stuff. Water, very important. You should drink that stuff, I guess. Gunpowder Nitro, thank you for being here. Thoughts on the one hydration carriers? Okay, Jake Wise, 1 quarts, 2 quarts. I'm gonna put Nalgene's in with the 1 quarts and Camelback bladders. A lot of people hate on camelback bladders. I haven't had any issues ever with the bag itself getting like a hole in it. I've had issues with the cap leaking. I think that's just me doing something wrong, but I don't understand what when I close it. I like camelback bladders, but I'll use canteens to carry more water and then refill the bladder. Also, if I wanted some like electrolyte stuff, I would have one canteen or one Nalgene that has that stuff in it. Yep. A malice frame. George Washington. I would love to have some Tactical Tailor stuff. I would love that. That shit's expensive. And I'm a cheap bastard, so that's probably not happening. Yeah, Chuck ordered the swig rig. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool stuff. I really, really hope it works. I really hope it works out. I just need to. I think I'm gonna go on another hike here in. I think about 2 weeks. I'm trying to put one together. Jake, you're welcome. I'm just here to talk about things. Okay, so we're like 10 minutes in, and the plan was that I would start on the topic about 5 minutes in. So that worked out well. So if you're watching in the recording, I tried to warn you. All right. So next weekend is the Midwest Preparedness Project Festival. Next weekend. I guess really it starts on like Tuesday. Point is, I'll be speaking at this event outside Lawrence, Kansas. I'll put a link in the description later. I should have done that already. Oh well. I'll put a link in the description later for the website for the event details. If Bobby is still here, he could probably put the link in the chat. That would be cool. That's why I gave him the wrench thing. So this event starts this upcoming Tuesday. On Saturday, September 7th, I'll be speaking at 10 o'clock. The speech will be called Bearing the Burden. Hello, Micah. Bearing the Burden. And right now, I'm just going to kind of demo some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about, kind of practicing my speech. And if I get some questions from you all, I'll get some feedback, stuff that is useful information, stuff that's not, other things I should talk about. I would love for you to put that in the comments. And so we'll just do the thing. Let's see. How am I starting this? Right. Okay, so you people, all 10 of you that are watching right now, anybody got like a bug out bag? Anybody got like a bug out bag, a thing for like bugging out, going to a place that's safer than the place that you're at? That's like the definition of bugging out. Maybe you've got like a get home bag. So maybe you're away from home and things happen and you want to get back home. So you've got like a bag of stuff that'll get you home because it's a get home bag. Maybe you got like a survival bag, wilderness survival bag. What's the acronym? Like never coming home bag or something like that. I don't know. Where you've got all the survival stuff, the hatchet and the axe and the saw and the knife and the other knife and the multi-tool and the cutting tool. See where I'm going with this? And then the fire starter and then the lighter and all the things. All the things. All right, maybe you've got, I don't know. Here's an example of a bag. Things that carry things. You ever put that thing on, like walk around with it? Because things weigh things. And sometimes heavy things like hurt when you carry them for a while. So before we get into anything else, if you've got one of those bags, highly recommend you put it like on your body, so I walk around with it. Like nobody's gonna stop you from like putting that bag on your back and like walking for half an hour, and then when the timer goes off, you turn around and walk back. Simple enough. But you might learn some stuff when you do that. Like you got too much stuff. This shit's kind of heavy. Maybe go camping. Go to something like the Midwest Preparedness Project Festival, September 7th. Camp out. I'll be camping out there. Friday night, Saturday night, be camping. So Any of those types of bags you probably don't need. You probably don't need one of these. So this is the FILBE. This is the current issue Marine Corps main pack. It's like 84, 85 liters, or in moon units, that'd be like 84 quarts. 84 quarts of volume. It's freaking big. Okay, I know you can put 100 pounds in it and walk with it for 6 miles. Whoops. Not professional. Stand by. Hit the charger cord. I got to be careful when I'm throwing shit. Am I centered? Am I centered? Kind of. There we go. Yeah, it's a big motherfucker, all right? So I know you can put 100 pounds in it and you can walk for 6 miles and it'll still work. And you can maybe throw stuff on top of it, like 50 cal barrels or 50 cal receivers that are 54 pounds. You can put that on top of your 100-pound pack and keep walking with it. Not recommended. My back says don't do it. But that's a backpack that you could have. And if you were going out for like a whole week, that'd be a great bag to have. Now you could, the thing with that pack though, that was designed to work well with somebody wearing body armor. You're probably not wearing body armor because that shit's heavy too. So before the Marine Corps started using that pack, they had this one. This is the ILBE. I don't remember what any of that shit stands for. This is the ILBE. It's designed by Arc'teryx, which if you haven't heard of them, they're fucking expensive. And it's made by Proper. But the thing about this pack, like, it was designed by a backpacking company. It's comfortable as fuck, okay? It's really nice padding, very comfortable. You got some room for airflow. It's kind of heavy for a backpacking pack, but it's a military pack. Like, what'd you expect? Still very big. Great for carrying a lot of stuff. If you're not wearing body armor and you need to carry a lot of stuff, like, this is a great pack. Not super expensive. Definitely cheaper than something like a Mystery Ranch this size. Don't hit the cord. So those are cool, but that's probably bigger. That's probably way bigger than what you need. Maybe you would want something like this Alice pack. Is this a large? This is a large, right? Where's the pouches at? Large Alice pack. I think these are like 50 or 60 liters or quarts. Again, moon units, quarts. The thing with packs is if you get a really big pack, you'll probably find enough stuff to fill it. So probably don't get a pack any bigger than you actually need, because those two over there with the MOLLE pouches and all, you can add a lot of extra shit on the outside too. You probably don't need that. This pack right here, this is probably the pack that I'm bringing to the Midwest Preparedness Project Festival. My Screwy Louie pack. Not a joke. Focus. Can you read that? There it is. Formerly owned by Specialist. Private? He's a private, right? Private 2, Screwy Louie. Probably a cool guy. So you've got things like the large Alice pack. Like I said, I think 55 liters or so. You can put a lot of stuff in it, but you're not going to overload yourself, most likely, unless you're like weak and you just need to go outside and squat 225 pounds 5 times. 3 sets. Pack like that, great. Not as comfortable as some of the modern stuff. Still really good. I like those a lot. I've been using Alice packs and Alice gear since I was like 13. So longer than 15 years. We'll just go with that. They're great. Great for carrying stuff. What else do I have? Now, probably anybody that's needing to get home, they probably only need something this big. This is an Eberly Stock Bandit. This is the only pack I've ever bought new. It was like $150. I think it's 19 liters. Little tiny fella. You can't fit very much in here. But you can fit 2 canteens. Maybe, where'd that 2 quart go? Come here, fucker. Will this 2-quart? Will this do 2-quart things? I think it would. I don't feel like stretching out the bungee cord and shit. But you got something like this Eberly Stock Bandit, and then I've added this Special Operations Equipment General Purpose pouch. This is just for hats. I've got like a beanie and a boonie in here. This is just for hats. They don't weigh nothing, so that's why I'm okay with putting it on the outside of the pack like that. A jacket, you could tuck a jacket in this beaver tail thing right here. It's a nice pack. So something like this is going to limit, like physically limit the amount of stuff that you can carry. And I would actually, if you're only going to stay out for like 24 hours at most, if you're just trying to get back to a place, like this is probably a really good pack. One of my favorite things about this is the padding on the back here. Let's see if you can get some. There we go. You can get some perspective on this. See how thick that is? See how thick that is? Like that is how thick it actually is. So there's this big old space, like a small child could fit their arm in there probably. With this on your back. So you've got plenty of airflow. The weight is entirely off your spine. It's on the muscles of your back. Like this, I really like this pack. I've gone on a couple of hikes with it. This is great. So something small is probably where you, if you don't have a bag, should probably start 20-ish liters. You're not going to weigh yourself down too much. Even if you're not particularly strong, maybe you just happen to be small, maybe a young teenager, like that pack, great. Put stuff in it. Go camping. Use the stuff. Having all the stuff in the bag doesn't really do you any good if you haven't used the stuff, so probably get out and use the stuff. Maybe go to the Midwest Preparedness Project Festival, September. Such a weird cadence when I speak, but that's packs, right? Those are some packs. Those are some options. That's just kind of some of the ideas, some of the things that I would think about when picking out a pack. Anybody on here got any questions before I move on to the next thing? Let me scroll back in the comments here. Micah says hello, sir. Yes, hello, sir. Dean Mullins, evening. Uncle Gunn says good evening to everybody. Tony's got one bag. Yeah, you really only need like one bag. I've got 5. I have a problem. I like the infantryman, the 19, 20-year-old infantryman that's banging rocks together in the back of my head like forever. That dude that I'm just kind of stuck with. He likes things for carrying other things for some reason. Let's see. Plug out, get home, vehicle bag. Yeah, Jake. Yeah, it's all like same but different. All these different bags. I don't know if you saw the dog as she went. She'll probably come back. She's not paying any attention to anything when I say. Let's see. Pretty sure some of my relatives did. George. I'm gonna try and slip in some battle of. I'm gonna call it the Battle of Lawrence. Maybe people will call it the Lawrence Massacre. I don't know. I'm gonna try and slip a few references in there because I do live on the better side of the Kansas Missouri state line. Fuckers. Micah says medical water flares. Yes. Yeah, that shouldn't get heavy. Yeah, water is 8.5 pounds a gallon, I think. And on any of the load bearing rigs, I try to have 5 quarts. So more like 10 pounds of water stepping off. Now maybe with this Grail thing, I might be able to step that down a little bit, but we'll see. Yes, Chuck, 5 quarts, like standard 5 quarts. And then more in the bags. At least 2 more in the bags. Like, hopefully I don't still have a lag. I'll just keep going though. Jake says Eberly stock bags are legit. The back support is excellent. Yes. Micah says 35-liter Kanaya pack? Question mark. 35 liters sounds good. I think the medium Alice packs are 35 liters, which is what I used all through when I was in Boy Scouts. I used a medium Alice pack the whole time, and I had the Alice Y harness and belt with 2 canteens, 2 ammo pouches, and a butt pack. Like that was my standard loadout as a kid and like through high school and Boy Scouts camping over the weekend. Standard loadout, Alice rig, Y harness, 2-inch belt, 2 ammo pouches, 2 canteens, butt pack, medium Alice pack. Worked great. There's better. There's stuff that I think is better now that I'm going to try and get to as long as I don't get banned. Because right about this point, the last time I did a live, right about this point right here, 26 minutes in, that's about where YouTube cut me off because of reasons. Chuck's got lots of bags. Yep. Crossfire bags are excellent. That stuff looks really cool. I've been watching some of the videos from like Alpha Charlie Concepts about the Crossfire bags, and who else? Brent 0331 has had some good videos on them, and that other guy. Shit, I just started watching him. I think he's pretty new, but he's really good. Fuck. Okay, I gotta look that up. What is that guy's name? Grunt Proof has great stuff too. Grunt Proof, Randall is why I bought the Eberly Stock Bandit. Randall's video on the Eberly Stock Bandit sold me. Shit. What is? Sorry, I gotta look because I think he's. I think he lives. I think I know where he lives. I'm not gonna say where. Light Fighters Anonymous, that guy. Light Fighters Anonymous. You need to check out Light Fighters Anonymous. His whole channel is basically about the stuff I'm talking about right now. He's good. Good stuff. Really good stuff. And I think I know where he lives. I need to comment on more of his stuff. Yeah. No lag now. Good. It's probably your internet, Micah. It's probably your internet. That's not me. It's probably your internet. Micah says no touch guns. Yeah, don't touch guns on live streams. They turn you off real quick. Crossfire is really good. Pricey but good. Yeah, pricey but good. I think it's like SOE. The shit's expensive, but you get everything that you're paying for with SOE for sure, and with Crossfire, it looks like you're getting what you pay for with Crossfire. Okay, so I've caught up with the comments. Let's move on to like the second portion of what I plan on talking about. Just kidding. I'm gonna read what Micah said. What do you carry in your pack? A lot of stuff. Yeah, I can hit on that real quick. That's kind of out of the scope of what I'll be talking about at the thing. Just because that's not the point. The purpose. Here's kind of the whole story. So I think it was in July. I posted a video about the differences between chest rigs and load bearing equipment. Like this British PLCE that's missing the canteen pouch because I used it for a video and they didn't put it back. load-bearing equipment, stuff around your waist. Actually, this leads into the second part anyway, Micah. So this works out really well. So I made this video a couple of months ago, the difference between chest rigs, load-bearing equipment. The important part is why you would want one or the other. Why you would want a chest rig. There's good reasons to have a chest rig, and there's good reasons to have a load-bearing vest or load-bearing equipment, or what the British would call belt kit. There's good reasons to have all of that stuff. The short version of that 10-minute video that you should definitely go check out is chest rigs are super popular. Let me back up. Let me just go back to the speech. So let me talk about gear for a minute. Chest rigs and this thing that the British would call belt kit. Everybody's pretty familiar with chest rigs by now, right? Stuff like this. Which one is this? The NSW, the modular NSW chest rig from Special Operations Equipment, holds 6 mags and some other stuff. Or the micro rig that I think there will be one at the event, maybe. The micro rig that they make. Everybody's familiar with chest rigs at this point. So over the last 20 years, chest rigs have gotten super popular. What with the global war on terror, everything being very mechanized. That, I think, is really what's driving the popularity with chest rigs, is the military being very mechanized. If you're in a vehicle, you're sitting down, you want a chest rig. You want all of your stuff away from your hips, up on your chest, ideally nothing on your back. Sitting in a Humvee with a plate carrier and then a camelback bladder is really not ideal. That's not good for your lower back. Just ask my lower back. But a chest rig like the SOE, any of the SOE chest rigs are great. If you're going to be in a vehicle, chest rig is probably your thing. Sometimes a chest rig will pair better with a pack, like those bigger packs that I have. Really all of those except for the Eberly stock. I would not wear some sort of belt kit, load-bearing equipment with those just because of where the kidney pad sits, where the belt sits, that's made to sit around your belt line. If your fighting load is near your belt line, that doesn't work out very well. So a chest rig, if you're wearing like a main pack, like any of those, a chest rig would be a great way to carry a fighting load while you're also carrying those things. Side note, if you're doing any of these walks and hikes and stuff and trying out your gear, the weight of your rifle doesn't count. Just the weight of your rifle doesn't count. It's the stuff on your body. I understand that you have to carry the weight of your rifle, but when you say, hey, I hiked with however many pounds, the rifle doesn't count as part of the weight. That's just, I don't make the rules. Those are just the rules. So, chest rigs, 20 years of war, very mechanized. Everybody's been using the shit out of those. A lot of you probably already have them, and if you don't, you should get them. Because you probably own a car. And you probably don't like walking. I don't like walking. I would much rather throw on a chest rig, get in a car, drive someplace, do a thing if there were things that needed to be done at a place, and then get in the car and come back. The thing, though, is that's not really like the natural way of carrying a fighting load. And what I mean by a fighting load, I mean, we'll call it 6 magazines, but 6 magazines plus some water, probably some food, maybe something to keep you out overnight, a jacket, a hat, a compass, anything that you would need to be out for, we'll say 12 hours. We'll make it easy. 12 hours, walking around, getting in a fight or two. That's a fighting load. Everything that you would need for that, we're gonna call that a fighting load, whatever that means for you. So traditionally, carrying a fighting load has always happened around your belt line, around your waist, maybe up on like the base of your stomach, but generally down here. That's where we've carried our gear. Man, up into the early days of Iraq and Afghanistan, we were still using Alice gear. Everything was down around your waist. Even things like the Flick, the FLC fighting load carrier, it really kind of kept things a little bit lower. It started to creep up a little bit. But from like the early 2000s all the way back to when we started carrying fighting loads in the first place, however far back that is, Roman times, I don't know, further back than that, everybody carried most of their weight around their waist. Think for a minute. You've seen pictures, you've seen movies of Vietnam, and they're using not Alice gear, but the precursor to Alice gear. Where's all their stuff? It's around their waist. World War II, like the BAR belt, fucking, what's the show? Well, there's the Pacific. I'm thinking of the other one, though. Band of Brothers. Where's all their gear? Like around their waist. World War I, it's the same concept. It's around your waist. Civil War. Where's all their stuff? Cartridge boxes around the waist. You look at the Brits during the Revolutionary War, when we kicked their fucking ass, where they carry all their stuff. Sure, they had the badass looking, because they looked cool. They had the white, like, not a sash, but the white belts crossed. And the reason they had them crossed like that is because they were carrying their weight around their waist. And that cross helped distribute that weight that was around their waist across their entire torso. So from about 20 years ago, all the way back to the beginning of fighting, we've carried our shit around our waist. Because that's the natural place to carry shit. And if it wasn't, we wouldn't have done it that way. But we did. So that's how you know. The people back in the day, they knew things. They were smart. They didn't have fucking trucks to carry all of their shit for them. So they carried all their weight around their waist. So let's talk about that. Chest rigs. If you want to know about chest rigs, look it up on fucking YouTube. You can see plenty if you don't know anything about those. But let's talk about stuff carrying around your waist. And let's start with really what's kind of the most, not the most interesting, but I think the most well-executed load-bearing, like fighting load equipment that I've messed with so far. And that's this British PLCE, which stands for something. This is from the 90s. And I might as well put it on standby. Side note. The reason I started getting back into stuff like this is because I wanted a rig where I could have enough stuff in it that I could put on one piece of equipment and have 24 hours worth of stuff. And that is, do I have that one in here? I've got gear goddamn everywhere in my living room. Okay, it's under the table. That's under the other table that my laptop is on. Okay. So this rig feels really lopsided without that canteen pouch. So this is the British PLCE that they came out with in the 90s based off of previous versions of things that they had. So thin shoulder straps, everything's around your waist. 2-inch belt, pretty standard with any of this stuff. Just like looking back even a couple hundred years, just looking at the belts, like they're 2-inch belts. So the coolest thing about this is they're using what I think is called Spanish style tabs, closure, I don't know, on these pouches. So the big thing I like about this, aside from it wears really nice. This is really comfortable. Keeps my front open, except for this tourniquet pouch I put right here for now. Silent pouch closer. Velcro, great idea. Wrong technology for things that are not for fighting. So if I have food in this pouch, I don't want Velcro. I want something silent so that while I'm sitting out in the woods deer hunting and I want a snack, it doesn't make a bunch of noise when I pull my snack out, because that's almost burned me a couple of times during deer season. Exactly that. So there's a couple of different ways for locking these down, but more or less there's a tab that goes through and a wedge, and they come with there's Velcro on it, but it has a silencer built in, so I use the silencer on this because Velcro kind of sucks. So there's a thing that slides through a thing, and then this little wedge here just slides in, and it's closed. And if you need to grab your shit, you can grab on this tab. It's at the bottom of the screen. You can grab on this tab, and it's open. That's it. It's great. I love it. I want this. Like, I have this. Also, this end that I grabbed for the quick open, if you tuck that in first, and then you put that wedge in after it, it locks this pouch down. It locks the pouch down really well, but there's still this little gap right here. So if you stick your thumb in there and pull on it, it'll still come open. I really like this. So this is made like standard, it seems like, for the Brits. Triple magazine pouches for your AR, 4 of them, at least 2 canteen pouches, and then 1 or 2 general purpose pouches. I'll show you what the general purpose pouch looks like. Some people would call it a GP pouch because general purpose is just way too many syllables. There's nothing in this right now, but there's what the general purpose pouch looks like. You can fit a canteen in there plus both your hands. Like there's a ton of room in these. Caleb, thank you for being here. You're late. Thank you for being here, though. So that's just one example of a rig. It was $40 also, so I had to have it. An example of a rig, fairly inexpensive, carries a full fighting load. So up to 12 magazines. I'm probably going to carry 9 and then medical in the other one. But up to 12 magazines, a couple of canteens, and then some general purpose stuff, some food, stuff to get you through the day or through the night. I'm super into load-bearing equipment like that. Another example, something more American, is the I forget what it is, LBE 88, LBV 88, something like that. Holds 6 mags, but it holds them up on your torso, and then you still have. First off, you've got this really nice, thick, very thick padded shoulder pads, but not so thick that it fucks with your pack. So this whole thing carries 6 mags on your torso. Plus, I've got a butt pack on here, 2 canteen pouches, 2 triple magazine pouches, so I can carry 12 magazines on this thing also. Plus 2 quarts of water and the butt pack, and then ideally a pack on top of that. The problem I have with that is I want to carry an Alice pack with it. And the Alice pack just rides a little bit too high, and the frame rides on my neck a little bit when I use a rig like that. Only issue I have. So that's why I'm thinking about trying to get a hold of a British pack, since they're like specifically intended for being worn over gear like that. So, fighting loads. I've been rambling about gear. Why am I talking about this shit? Why is this important to you? And by you, I mean the audience at Midwest Preparedness Festival. Some preppers, some gardeners, some farmers, some normal people probably, and then maybe a couple of people like you, fucking weirdos. All 12 of you. Thanks for being here. I'll get back to the comments here in a minute. So why is this important to somebody that I just want to be at my house? I've got my garden, and that's what I do. Whether you have a job or you don't, I just home, garden, raise my kids, homeschooling probably. Homeschooling's cool. You should homeschool. I was homeschooled, and I turned out fine-ish. Okay, but why is this important to you? So, where do I start? Where should I start? Let's start with the most recent thing. Let's start with, let's see, I guess the most recent thing would be Israel. So we all know, October last year, I think it was October, some dudes came across a line and did some stuff, and some people died. And it was tragic and it was bad. And now there's a war on, and that's even worse. Okay, that's sad. So, from what I understand about Israel, they have, I forget the name of I forget what they call it, but they have these farming communities similar to the stuff that we want. Similar to the stuff that we want, where people just kind of do their farming thing, work together, and be left alone. They have some of those. They sound great, but if Hamas comes across the line and starts killing motherfuckers, you don't really have a choice but to fight or die. And if you die, your wife and your kids, they're checking out too. And that's not an option. That's not what you want. So if you have a situation like what happened in Israel, and you've got farming communities, you have to be able to defend your community. And not just having a handgun out while you're farming. Do that. Definitely do that. But maybe we should consider having something like a fighting load, one thing that we throw on, and if stuff is going down and somebody needs to go solve a problem, you throw on one thing, you go over there, you solve the problem. Whether you come back or you don't, you were ready, you were there, and your family can keep doing what your family does. Ukraine. I don't know a ton about Ukraine's geography. I think the area where a lot of the fighting going on, a lot of rural stuff over there. I mean, anywhere you go except for like the California coast, there's going to be a lot of rural areas. Even if you get very far away from the California coast, they got rural areas out there too. Probably some people farming out there. That's kind of what people do in rural areas. So the Ukraine war kicks off, and what happens? Everybody's screaming for rifles. And if you've got a rifle, you need a way to carry your fighting load. You need to carry your 6 to 12 magazines, your 2 to 5 quarts of water, and your food, and your poncho liner. You got to be able to carry all that stuff if you need to go and defend wherever it is that you live, whether it's part of a war or there's gangs or anything like that. You got to be able to carry your shit. That is where I think something like the LBE comes in. You throw on one thing. You're not going to a place and getting in a fight over there. It's too late. The war is here. The fight is here. You need to be able to put on enough stuff to defend the right now, the right here. Win right now. Get distance. And then we can sort out what we do after. Whether we throw on a pack like the FILBE, we go out for a week, go track these guys down and make sure they don't come back. Or we stay here, we let some other people handle it. You're going to need to take care of the right here and right now. All right. What else? What else? Can we look further back than stuff that's going on right now? We'll skip over Iraq and Afghanistan. Let's go back to the thing that I said I was going to mention earlier. Let's go back to, I don't know, 1862-ish. You're a dude living in Lawrence, Kansas, like 5 miles from where I'll be giving this speech. Like right up the road over there. And all of a sudden, all these Missourians show up with rifles, and they're mad because reasons. We don't need to get into that. There were reasons. If you want to talk about that with me later, we could talk about that later because there's reasons. But let's say you live in Lawrence, Kansas, and a bunch of Missourians show up on horses with rifles and revolvers and start blasting like you do. Right or wrong, you got to be able to throw on your fighting load and take care of that problem. From what I understand, nobody fucking did that back when that thing happened. And it was sad for some people. It was sad for some people. Glorious victory for some people, maybe, depending on how you look at it. I don't know. Speaking of Lawrence, Kansas, let's see. I looked up the population of Lawrence during the speech. I'll probably ask how many people live there. I want to say it's close to 100,000. I think it's bigger than Joplin. Joplin's 50,000. And I know there's gangs in Joplin. So maybe there's some gangs in Lawrence. So maybe you're a dude living outside Lawrence, President Day, but there's some gangs over there. Of course, right now they're probably going to leave us alone, so we're not stupid enough to live inside town where there's like gangs and shit because we're smart. But if the shit goes down, which is probably part of the reason why we would all be at the Midwest Preparedness Project Festival, September 4th through the 8th, where I will be speaking at 10 o'clock on September 7th about this stuff. Probably part of the reason why we would show up to an event like that is because we're worried about the shit going down. If the shit goes down, Lawrence probably isn't going to have a lot of food. Maybe they got 2-3 days worth of food. Being optimistic, we'll say they got 3 days worth of food. I don't know. How much food do you have in just your regular refrigerator? 2 days? 1 day? 3 days? Maybe you'll get maybe your refrigerator will get you through the week because you're not an idiot. But everybody else in Lawrence, after 2 or 3 days when there's no more food inside town, what are those people going to do to get food? Where are they going to go? I'd imagine they're not stupid. Maybe they're not the brightest, but they're not stupid. And they're going to be there in town. And they're going to think, where is their food? I know. This is fucking Kansas. We're known for things like corn, wheat. Both of those things are food. So maybe if we go outside town, there we go. Caleb says population of Lawrence, 96,000. That's what I thought. So yes, about twice the size of Joplin, as far as I know. Maybe if we go outside town where all these farms are at, we can find food. So you'll probably have to contend with your regular ass dad that's just trying to feed his kids. Whether they're going to do bad things to get food or not, depends. Maybe they can't cut it. I don't know. You might get some people I don't want to say like me, but maybe similar to me or similar to Bobby or Billy or Darren that know some things, but we're generally moral people. Not everybody like us, not everybody that was in the military is moral people. A lot of those people are bad. A lot of people, there's some people in the military that if they showed up on the news because they did something bad, wouldn't be surprised. And I was in a platoon of 40. And there's a couple of people, if they showed up on the news for something bad, I wouldn't be that surprised. So maybe there's a couple of people in Lawrence that know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two and they're hungry. They're probably going to come outside town trying to find food. And if you're the one with food, they might just try to grab some real quick and leave. But they might not. And let's see, how do I include everyone? Virtuous men and women, maybe? That's not okay. Showing up, taking our shit, not okay. So maybe you need to throw on some stuff that carries some things to solve the problem. That's really the whole message that I want to get across here is the bug out bags, the bug in bags, the survival bags, the get home bags. It's cool stuff. You should put it on. You should walk with it. Get used to using it. Carrying a fighting load. If you've never thought about it, you need to start thinking about it. Because there's a lot of history. Some of it that happened literally right here, right where I'm at, right where you're at. When I give the speech, right where they're at, right where we're at then, right outside Lawrence. There's some shit that happened right there. And somebody needed to handle a problem, and maybe they did, maybe they didn't. You should probably be ready for that. So, after I give my speech, If anybody would want to come and talk to me, I'll be wherever it is that I'll be at. We can talk about whatever you want. You want to talk about bags? We can talk about bags. You want to talk about fighting load carriers? I'm going to try and bring a few examples. Whether I bring them up on stage or not, we'll see. But I'll have some stuff. Some stuff for carrying water, canteen pouches, like maybe some of you saw in the video right before this live. And we can talk some stuff out. Get me thinking, get you thinking. And maybe be ready, more prepared. It is a preparedness festival for whatever it is that's coming down. We got an election coming down. It sure seems like the government's hell-bent on war with Iran, maybe with Russia. The Marine Corps has been gearing up for war with China for several years. Like, the Marine Corps is laser focused on fighting China. That might not affect us here in Kansas and Missouri, but it might. And whether the war comes here, there could be some problems here. What was that thing they called it? The Summer of Love a few years ago. Sure, the big cities burned. Fuck them, right? If that's what they're into, fine. The various police shootings and stuff that went down while I was on a MU in 2014, the stuff in St. Louis, stuff in Florida. That shit happens. Sometimes that stuff overflows. Maybe you're like the McCloskeys in St. Louis and you live inside town because you're a fucking moron. Maybe you live in a big town. And there's some people out considering causing you harm. Maybe you should be more prepared than one rifle and whatever the fuck pistol that lady had. I don't know. It looks small. Whatever it was. Maybe you should be more prepared than that. I would like you to be more prepared than that. I think that's why we're here. We all want, as a group, to be prepared for whatever it is that happens. So, I think that pretty well wraps up this like sort of practice run for my speech. Hopefully Bobby is still here, can text me some advice. I don't know the alcohol content on this, but I can feel the alcohol content a little bit. It's good stuff. I won't be feeling the alcohol content at 10 o'clock, September 7th, outside Lawrence, Kansas, for the Midwest Preparedness Project Festival. Well, I'll be giving this speech, but better. September 7th. You could probably go to the MidwestPreparednessProject.com and get the rest of the details. I'll forget the name of the campground. The event is free. I will be speaking. Billy Bond and Darren Strong will be doing a chicken butchering class later in the afternoon, 3 o'clock. I'm super excited for that. And I don't remember the name of the dude, but Crunchy Mama Farms, they will be talking about, I think it's being your own butcher. Super cool stuff. September 7th, Midwest Preparedness Project, outside Lawrence, Kansas. Come hang out. The event is free. I will be camping out Friday and Saturday night and helping pack up on Sunday. Come say hi. It's a great time. There's great people like me. I mean, I'm okay. But there's a bunch of other people that are actually good people, actually great, that you can come hang out with, meet those people. It's a great time. Come check it out. We're coming up on an hour. I'm going to look over the comments, see what's going on. If anybody has any questions or any input about the shit that I just rambled about for half an hour or so, please put that in the comments. I would like all of the feedback I can. This is the first like public speaking engagement that I've had. Like I've done public speaking for work and sort of when I was in the Marines a little bit, Boy Scouts, Civil Air Patrol, college, I guess. Yeah, college. I had to do some presentations. But this is the first, like, I don't know. Here, just talk about some shit that Bobby kind of set me up for. So any feedback I can get, I would appreciate it. All right, I'm going all the way back to Dean's comment probably 20 minutes ago. Alice type belt kit with SOE micro rig works well. Yeah, I did one video. I meant it as a joke, but I did one video, a short, about choosing between belt kit and a chest rig. And my punchline. Go watch the video. It's funny, but yeah, wearing a belt kit and a chest rig at the same time, that's an option. And it's a real option. Let's see. Jake says he agrees with rifle weight designation. Yeah, it's 0. It doesn't count. I don't make the rules, but those are the rules. The weapons don't count. What's in your pack, that's what counts. Backpackers, they don't count like water, I think, or food, which is weird because you're carrying. Anyway. Micah agrees rifle cannot add to weight. Yeah, but still, the rifle does weigh something. So if you can make the rifle weigh less, that would be cool. Like, don't turn around, but there's an AK in the room maybe. It's kind of heavy, but it's really good for fighting. And then I have somewhere else an AR with a polymer lower. Oh my God, polymer lower is garbage. I haven't had enough time to shoot it enough yet. But it weighs less. It makes my body feel better. So that's a thing. Rifles weighing less. It's not a bad thing, depending on what you want. Micah, back to the basics. What and how much should you carry? Okay, when I do a ruck, so hiking is when you put this stuff on and you're going to a place and you have to bring stuff with you. That is hiking. Appalachian Trail, hiking. If you are training to get better at hiking, that is called rucking. And you should go over to Grunt Proof's channel and watch his series on rucking. It's very good. So, rucking, putting on weight and training, practicing, getting stronger for a hike. Minimum of an hour. I would say, like, the easiest thing you could do that I've done before is start a timer. Just step off from your house. When the timer goes off, half an hour later, turn around and come back. See if you can keep that same pace on the way home. Weight-wise, don't carry 100 pounds. Fuck that. Don't do that. The bottoms of my feet turned black and was 6 miles. Don't carry 100 pounds. Don't do that. If you can avoid it, please do not do that. But I would work up to 50. Generally, people will say 25% of your body weight. Who in here isn't at least 200 pounds? Who in here shouldn't be back down to 200 pounds? Just 50 pounds. 50 pounds is a good weight to work up to. Whatever it is you need to do to work up to that, do that. If you need to walk with nothing, personally, I don't consider walking without weight exercise. It's just walking. Maybe it's like rucking before rucking, but like if you're just walking, yes, it's beneficial, but I can't call it my brain won't let me call it exercise. But work up to 50 pounds. So if you need to start with 20 or even 10, just a backpack with a gallon of water in it, that's going to get you up around 10 pounds. That's not a terrible place to start. And then that 1 hour walk, that 3 to 4 miles in an hour, depending on things. I mean, 4 would be great, but 3, the average person walks about 3 miles an hour. So 1 hour of walking at 3 miles an hour, carrying whatever it is you can carry, like that's a step in the right direction. When I ruck, I carry 50 pounds. And I go for a minimum of an hour. If I'm stepping off from the house, minimum of an hour. There's one particular loop I know of that's about 3 miles, so we can get that done in a little bit less than an hour. There's another loop that's 5 to 7 miles. That takes a while, but that one, if you've got terrain and you've got brush to deal with, that is an extra thing. So if you're going slow, but you're trying to get through some thick brush, you're trying to find a way to cross a stream, like that's all beneficial. Because the thing about rucking is building the skill set, and it's not just about getting strong. It's about how you pack your gear. It's about what you bring, and it's about how you navigate the terrain, and not just navigate with like a map and compass, but like how do you, what's the word, traverse? How do you cover that terrain? So there's a particular loop that we'll do that involves some horse trails, which is great. So not super smooth, but there is a clear path that we're following. Then there's some gravel road that we'll get on, and you can really cruise on a gravel road. And then there's a period where there's just fucking brush, and it's fucking hard to get through. And that's some real work. Like that is some real work trying to figure out how to get through these small trees and these bushes and not get caught in the thorns. That is some real work, and that is, I think, an important part of building this skill that they call rucking, hiking, whichever. And then there's some crossing some fields, some ditches and shit. It's a good time. So yeah, all of that stuff, just get out and do it. Okay, looks like the viewership is dropping off, which is great because I'm tired. Let's see, basics. How many mags? Bueno is good. 6 is like the minimum. More than that would be better. 12, if you can do it. More would be great. I've been listening to this podcast called Sogcast. It is Green Berets that did some super secret shit in Laos and Cambodia during the Vietnam War. They had to sign some shit that said they would not talk about it for 20 years. And they're finally talking about it. What is it? 50, 60 years later? Cool stuff. 20 mags, 20 round mags. But 20 mags some of those guys would carry. And they intended on not getting in fights. They did not want to get in fights, but they got in some fights that were pretty wild. Homestead Medical says, I may know where you can get medical. Yeah, so you can go to homesteadmedical.us. That is Chuck's website, Homestead Medical. And buy your medical stuff from him because he's cool. He'll take care of you if you don't drink enough water and then fall asleep in the sun and then wake up with aphid. He'll take care of you. Hypothetically, if that happened to anybody. That would never happen to me 2 years ago at the Self-Reliance Festival. Okay, Dean Mola says, before your speech, you should have a list of some resources where people could buy surplus. Well, Dean, if you're still here, places you could buy surplus. OT Surplus, that is One Thief Surplus. That is owned by a Marine. It's a smaller website, but he does have some pretty cool stuff like the Swig Rig. Like the Swig Rig, where you can have maybe a 2-quart canteen like this with a little plug. And the Swig Rig comes with a straw that fits through this slot. And then you can use a regular Camelback hose to drink your water. You can get those at otsurplus.com. And if you have a problem, you can email those guys and they'll take care of you. And like the guy that is in charge will talk to you. Because I did actually have a problem with mine. One of the fittings on the hose had a crack in it. It was leaking. Like I was drinking the water and I could tell that there was air coming in from somewhere. I found where the air was coming in. He sent me a new piece. Didn't cost me anything. He didn't have to do that. He sent me a new piece, and I appreciate it. OTsurplus.com. Army, Navy, Outdoors. I bought some stuff from them. They have a specific Marine Corps and MARPAT section, which is very important to me since I was in the Marines, obviously. So I like MARPAT. So if there's a section specifically for Marine Corps stuff that I got issued, stuff that's MARPAT, I like that. Army, Navy, Outdoors has that section. If you want cool and interesting stuff, the Commando store, spelled with a K, the Commando store has some cool stuff. And, what's the other one? Americana Pipe Dream has a lot of, maybe not a lot, but they have more. The percentage of their stuff that they have less of, it's rare. Americana Pipe Dream has rarer stuff, usually. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. Does anyone remember how much was in this bottle when I started? Because I don't. I'll have to look at the replay and see how much was in it. Whatever the alcohol content of this is, it's not small. So the 4 of you that are left are getting some, I don't know, non-standard stuff, I guess. My fingers are getting a little numb. So just to recap on Dean's question. OT Surplus, owned by a Marine, own and operate. Army, Navy, Outdoors has a USMC MARPAT section. Very important to me. If you like MARPAT, the best pat, check that out. Americana Pipe Dream and the Commando store, Commando with a K, has some rarer stuff and some cooler stuff. Might be more expensive though. Sportsman Guide has a ton of stuff. If you just want to look at a bunch of stuff, Sportsman's Guide has a bunch of stuff. There's a couple others that I'll look at, but that pretty much covers everybody that I've either bought stuff from. I don't think I've bought anything from Americana Pipe Dream, but I've looked at their stuff. They've got cool stuff. I like looking at cool stuff. Okay. Homestead Medical says Crossfire can adjust ride height. Yes, that's important for you little people. Micah says, because we like you. That sounds made up. Homestead Medical says Mystery Ranch also. Yes, I don't know. I don't own anything by Mystery Ranch, but I know Mystery Ranch makes good stuff. They do have, I just got reminded about this a couple of days ago. Somebody at work is going on a hike in Colorado. So me and him were looking at packs, and I was trying to help him out. And we were looking at, I told him just look up Mystery Ranch and see what they had. Like, it's expensive. You're probably not going to get it, but go ahead and look at it anyway. They have a 2-day pack that is, I want to say it's 30 or 35 liters. So about the same size as a medium house pack. So something I'm used to. It's less than $200. Less than $200. Medium house pack sized. Made by Mystery Ranch. Looks really good. If I didn't already have a lot of packs, I'd probably get one of those. And if you, whoever you are, the 6 of you still watching, thank you for being here. If you were looking for a pack, that Mystery Ranch 2-day pack, I think it was like $175. Maybe it's on sale this weekend. Well, with it being Socialist Day, Labor Day. Sorry. Well, with it being Labor Day, maybe it's on sale. Like that's going to be a good pack. The Mountain Wizard, who has some good stuff on his channel about, let's see, what were the ones that I watched? I think there was some on water purification, I think. Definitely one on a freezer with a cool bot. Very cool stuff. For the 7 of you still watching, the Mountain Wizard has some pretty neat stuff. And what I mean by neat stuff is he's done some stuff that's expensive and takes a lot of work and figured it out and is cool. So if you want to do something cool that's maybe expensive and or takes a lot of work, you want to do it right the first time, you should probably go check out the Mountain Wizard because he's got some neat shit. ZCSR says, from what I have, maybe what I've heard, Switzerland and Taiwan have very similar policies like what you said about Israel. I'm assuming he's talking about the is it a kibbutz? It's some weird word. I want to say it's kibbutz, but basically a farming community that I don't want to call them socialists because from what I understand, it's like voluntary small farming communities. And if those people are sharing stuff and it's voluntary, that's not really socialist, because socialist is government imposed sharing of stuff. I think that's what Israel has, though, these farming communities where they try to like actually take care of each other, which is something we would want. And that is why somebody would show up to a thing like the Midwest Preparedness Project that's coming up here September 4th through the 8th, where I will be speaking September 7th at 10 a.m. outside Lawrence, Kansas. You can go to MidwestPreparednessProject.com and check out the details on that. Okay, Max commented a while ago and said, "Hey, Sam." Hello, Max. Thank you for being here. Mike also says hi. Interesting, because Mike didn't leave a comment. What the hell? Mike didn't say shit. Micah says things. Spag says the mercenary wars in Africa in the 80s. Ho, ho, ho! The mercenary wars in Africa in the 80s. If you haven't heard the song about Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner, fuck, I love that song. It's about mercenaries in Africa. I really like songs and stories about immortal warriors. Roland is one of those guys. I want someone to make a movie. Side note. I want someone to make a movie that includes, I want to say at least 3. I think you need at least 3 of these immortal warriors. You need Roland post the song. You know what I mean? I think you need Rooster from the song Rooster by Alice in Chains. I think you need him. And I think you need him made up, not like the real person that song is based off of, Rooster by Alice in Chains. It's about a real person. A machine gunner, very important. But I think you do him up with a rooster head. I think that would be super cool. And then you would need one more guy. I don't think the Headless Horseman would quite work, but maybe, because then you've got 3 dudes. But then you would have 2 guys that are missing heads, and that would be weird. That would be weird. 1 guy missing a head, not weird. 2, that would be weird. You're liable to get sued, but if you used Wolverine, that would be badass. Like my favorite part of the X-Men, the whole X-Men is just that badass compilation of Wolverine and his brother, Sabretooth. Those 2 guys just being immortal warriors and going through all of the things. Just the idea of immortal warriors is super cool. Sound Philosophy has written me a paragraph. What you said about communities of independent homesteaders and gardeners able to defend themselves and neighbors is pretty much the solution to every major problem, foreign and domestic. Yes, that is bringing me back to the speech that maybe some of you missed because you're just tuning in. The whole point of what I intend on talking about at the Midwest Preparedness Project Festival on September 7th outside Lawrence, Kansas, is we and the broader audience out there has got to be thinking about, when the shit goes down, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to handle it? What are the things that are going to be required of you to take care of the people you care about when the shit happens? Whatever the shit is. Maybe it's just losing your job. Maybe it's an economic downturn. Maybe it's something like the Great Depression. Maybe it's just some riots. Maybe the riots spill outside of town. Maybe people inside town don't have enough food to feed the people inside town, so they go outside town looking for food. If you're just a gardener out in your garden and those people come outside looking for food, they're looking for you. And they're probably not going to let you tell them to fuck off without a gun. Then they might come back. And you should be able to carry a fighting load when those people come back. I'm way behind on the comments, but there haven't been very many. So the 7 of you, if you commented, that would be cool because I could see your comment right now and comment back if anybody had any questions about anything I've been talking about. The canteen pouch video that premiered right before this, the fairly popular video I made about chest rigs and load bearing equipment. If you had any questions about that, you could put that in the live comments. I'll probably answer it. So there's only like 5 left. Okay, let's see. Mark Curtis says, hello all. Thank you, Mark Curtis. I assume you've left already by now because I've been rambling for who knows how long. Too long. Hour, 21 minutes. But thank you for being here. Jake Wise. You speak well and are confident. That sounds made up. The speak, like I'll speak fairly quickly. I'll rattle some stuff off, and then I'll just stop for a second, and pause, and then stare at all the main packs over there that I talked about at the very beginning of the video. And if you didn't see that, maybe just go back to the beginning. See what I did there? Talked real fast, paused, stopped. I don't like that. And then I talk real slow and real calm, like the way I'm doing right now. I don't know. I think the way that I speak is weird. But Jake, if you like it, great. Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for being here. Tony from Chicago retracted his comment. That's probably good. What's really weird is he didn't comment again. Normally when people retract their comment, it's because they misspelled something. Or maybe it's just me when I retract a comment. It's because I misspelled something. ZCSR writes me a paragraph. Subject of being prepared. I can't read. I'm sorry. What would be good beginner level items that you would start with, or what would be some misconceptions of items you don't need? Let's see. Stuff that you don't need is probably more important. I think that whether you call it a range belt or a battle belt, I think the way those are executed is not really where to start. So I think owning armor is important because it's the only thing that stops bullets, but it only stops the bullets that hit you right here, or the same in the back. It doesn't protect you from the side. It's not protecting your shoulder, your hands. If you're shooting at something, and somebody shoots you right in the chest and you've got armor on, cool, it's not going to kill you, but you might not have hands after that. So I think armor is important, but the battle belt without the harness is what I'm talking about. Without the harness, because it's another thing that got popular in the last 20 years or so, is this 2-inch belt, maybe Velcro, maybe it Velcro's on, or maybe it's 3-4 inches and padded, but there's no harness to it. So all of that weight is sitting right there on your hips. It's not distributed through your whole torso. Usually there's a pistol on it. There's a couple of magazines and some medical, and that's it. If you're working around the garden, maybe. But if you're in an actual fight, your pistol, throw that thing away. Get a rifle. As soon as you can get a rifle, just take your pistol and just like chuck it, because that's fucking useless. You got a rifle now. I don't know. What was the other part of the question? Beginner level items. Everyone should own an Alice pack. Everyone should own an Alice pack. Probably the large, but a medium is still good. Everyone should own an Alice pack. You can still find them for about $50 if you are patient. You're probably not going to see them on a surplus site for $50. But like Facebook Marketplace, you can still probably find an Alice pack for $50 every once in a while. Everyone should own an Alice pack. Mission critical required equipment for me. The Marine Corps issue poncho liner is very lightweight. It's very thin, but it's very comfortable. And the reason the Marine Corps one specifically is not just because of the Marpad, which is badass. It has a zipper. So what that gets you, let me back up. Every other poncho liner ever has a couple of strings so you can tie it together. And if you had a military poncho, you could tie it to your military poncho, and then you have a weather-proof or maybe weather-resistant sleep system. Fairly lightweight, which is great. But the Marine Corps issue poncho liner has a zipper so it can function as a sleeping bag. I made a short on this that you should go check out. You can unzip. So if you're sitting in a Humvee, I've done this. If you're sitting in a Humvee and you're cold, you can zip the side up and unzip the bottom, and then you got a tube. So then while you're sitting in the Humvee, you can sit in this tube without your boots just inside your poncho liner getting all dirty and shit. You don't want that. So that tube inside your vehicle is great. My brain is a little bit broken. There is a 20-year-old machine gunner banging rocks together in the back of my head all the time. I sleep with a Marine Corps poncho liner in my room. Like, period. Not necessarily the Marine Corps issue, but the military issue grid fleece, the medium weight one, is very, very, very comfortable. If it's cold, I will be wearing that, period. It's fantastic. Anything from special operations equipment is great gear, but it's expensive. You get what you pay for, but it's expensive. Most things military surplus are still good. They're going to be heavier. They're going to be very durable. They're probably going to outlive you. Let's see. Anything else? A lightweight beanie, you need that. That's good enough. What else? CCSR. Would those websites be great places for getting combat shirts or pants? Yes. I forgot to mention Venture Surplus earlier. Venture Surplus is good. Combat pants. The way I would define combat pants is like anything of a military nature. So anything from your like old school 90s BDU pants, just woodland camouflage pants with cargo pockets. They're great. I like them. The Marine Corps issue stuff, the flame resistant stuff, whatever it is, the Army issues, I'm sure that's all great. Pants wise, Helicontex, True Spec, Proper, all of those are going to make good stuff. Same thing with shirts. I have a video or two about what is this called? This is the True Spec Extreme. That's Extreme. No E at the beginning for some reason. Shirt. They also make pants. So this is, I don't know, I'm just going to call it one of them raid mod style shirts. So no lower pockets. Like from World War II to the 90s, they had lower pockets. This doesn't have that. It has slanted chest pockets like this one here and a zipper pocket behind it. It has shoulder pockets and a zipper pocket behind that. Ripstop, not super heavy. Has a little bit of elbow padding, which is cool. And a vent in the back. It's zippered, which I'm not super into. And the pockets are Velcro. I would much rather have buttons. But this is a nice shirt made by True Spec. And I think I got it from Venture Surplus. Not that long ago. They're probably still in stock. So you should go check that out. The Extreme shirt by True Spec. Also, I'm looking at, I forgot the name of the website. Helicontex makes a raid shirt that looks really good, and you can get it in Rhodesian brushstroke. Woodlandtactical.com. I'm gonna buy one of these. Let's see, shirts. Clothing. What about jackets? Is it in jackets? Damn, where is it? Uniforms. Combat shirts. That's where it's at. Fuck, I was wrong. Anyway, what I say, woodlandtactical.com sells Helicontex raid shirts. Let's talk about shirts for a minute. So there's kind of two types. You've got your field tops and your combat tops. And ZCSR's question was about combat shirts. When I think combat shirt, I'm thinking of something like the Marine Corps frog gear, which I have in the other room. I'm not going to go dig it out. But the sleeves are generally very similar to any other military top. But the torso is a thin, kind of like a t-shirt material. Those are intended to be worn under body armor to keep your torso cool while still protecting your arms. So you get both. You can wear armor and have a somewhat breathable torso area and then protect your arms. The Marine Corps issue, because obviously I'm gonna refer back to the Marine Corps issue like all the time. Deserts you can get, I assume fairly easily right now. Woodland, Marpat, flame resistant organizational gear. That's what FROG stands for. Flame resistant. Flame resistant is the important part. Woodland is expensive as shit right now. There's government contract issues. Basically, no one is making Woodland Marpat right now. Like nobody, as in the entire Marine Corps is not even using Woodland Marpat right now. They're just using deserts. Even in boot camp, they're using deserts. It's fucking weird. Woodland Marpat is a collector's item now. So, fuck y'all, because I have some of that shit. Websites for getting combat shirts and pants. Yeah, Helicontex makes good stuff. Any of the military issue stuff is going to be good. Look around for it. Any of those websites I mentioned, look at those. Combat art training was here and is probably gone by now because he has like a life and shit. He says, greetings, fellow extremists. Should have said extremists because there's still like probably 5 extremists still watching. That 6th guy, probably a Fed, but that's okay. If there's not a Fed watching, then we're not doing our job. Mr. Dude, why you gotta do that to me? Why you gotta put 2 words? Fistone? Fist 1? Anyway, he says, got a model number for that Mystery Ranch backpack. Thanks. No, I don't. Just says 2-day pack. It's less than $200. You're smart. You'll figure it out. Dean, who has been here like since the beginning of the live stream, I saw him comment. It was probably like 10-15 minutes ago at least. I wish they showed me the timestamp right now. Dean, thank you for being here. Says, have a list of resources for surplus gear after you finish your presentation. I should definitely add that to my notes. And yes, I will mention that at the end of my presentation. Places you can get surplus gear. I think I'll have a little bit to trade and or sell, I guess. Here's a cool thing about the Midwest Preparedness Project Festival, where I will be speaking at 10 a.m. September 7th. That's next weekend. It's outside Lawrence, Kansas. If you want the details, you can go to MidwestPreparednessProject.com. One of the cool things that they do Saturday nights, which will be September 7th, is Bartertown. Bartertown is where anybody can bring anything that they want to trade with people. Dollars are not allowed. Fiat currency is what they'll say. Fiat currency, not allowed. Entirely trading stuff. I'll have a couple pieces of gear to trade, I think. Maybe a knife or 2. A few things that I just want to get rid of. Because here's the thing. They'll have a few kids running around trading stuff. And just for the kids' experience of making the deal and art of the deal and all that shit, I'll have a few things that if they make what I think is a fair deal or a reasonable deal, and I don't care about what they're giving me, but I also don't care about what I have, I'll make the deal. It is that about the kids, that's cool. But I should have a little bit of gear to trade. And then beef jerky. I make beef jerky. It's pretty good. People like it. They fight over my meat. Not really. I'll have some of that to trade. ZCSR, who is still here for some reason. Dude. Thanks. I'm glad you were here to hear my answer to your comments earlier. That Red was what? Oh, Fed. That Fed was watching that last live stream with your rifle. Yeah, so the last live stream I did, I think it was Sunday. YouTube shut me down about 25 minutes in. I had my pistols on like I normally do. And when I started to talk about the speech they'll be giving at the Midwest Preparedness Project Festival on September 7th, I took my guns off and I set them on the table. And that was enough for YouTube's algorithm to see that I was handling guns on a live stream and shut me down. Because that's not allowed. Handling guns on a live stream, don't do that. Their algorithm is fucking good. They'll bump you off real quick. Okay, am I caught up with the comments? I am caught up with the comments. All right, so I've gone for a little over an hour and a half. I've had however much was in this bottle when I started. Don't know the alcohol content, but it's enough. I don't expect my friend that made that to see this part of the video, but I do appreciate that he made that stuff for me instead of a friend. Make that for me from the mulberry tree out in my yard. I appreciate it. All right. Any last questions before I go to bed? Because I'm fucking tired. ZCSR says, great live stream. That sounds made up, but thanks anyway. Anybody else? Anybody else? There's 4 of you. You make a comment, I'm going to read it. You make a comment, I'll read that shit. There's 4 of you. Come on. What you got? Anything else? Anything at all? Okay, not anything at all, but close. ZCSR, I don't remember if I told you or not. I'm trying to put a hike together for 2 weeks from now. Because 1 week from now is the Midwest Preparedness Project Festival, September 7th, where I'll be speaking. The next weekend, I don't think I have anything scheduled, so that's why I want to do a ruck. The weekend after that, I believe, is OFAST. So you and I should probably go hang out at that. I just sent the waiver to the guy so that I can do the stuff. So OFAST is in 2 weeks. And then the weekend after that, I think it's the weekend after that, I'm training with Sonny Pazikis. So the only opportunity for a ruck is 2 weeks from now. No one's commenting anything. I'm kind of surprised. There's 4 of you. Maybe there's 3 of you. I don't know if I count or not. Anything else? Is there anything that I want to talk about? Yeah. Okay. One thing. One thing. I'll give you guys a second. I'm going to talk about this thing. If you got anything in the comment, go ahead. I think you saw. I'm going to assume that you saw the SOE Special Operations Equipment canteen pouch video that premiered right before this live. It carries a grail. So this grail. Let me open this up real quick. So this water bottle has a filter built into it. So I'm not going to open it all the way because there's water in here. Oh, I got to crack the thing to let air in because science. There it is. So this grail, right? You put your water in up to the line right here. And then this inner container is where your clean water goes. At the bottom of that is a filter. So when you press that and close it, it filters your water. So it would probably be better if I set this down. But once this thing closes, the water is, there we go. The water is filtered. This is super cool. I just got this a couple of days ago. But your special operations equipment canteen pouch will hold this. And I showed it in the video, but I'll show it again because I'm super excited about this because it's tall. And I wasn't sure how I was going to carry this. But if I have the canteen pouch for special operations equipment, if you put this loop forward, the sort of Y strap will clear your cap. And then you can run your strap through that hole right there. Ooh, come on. Through the hole right there. And then it may be a tight fit depending on things, but the buckle will close. So your grail, which is tall for some reason, I wish they had made this Nalgene sized, but it's not. It's narrower and taller. You can carry your grail in the special operations equipment 1 quart canteen pouch improved. Great pouch. If you didn't see the video that premiered right before this live, you should go check that out. Mr. Fistone 23 says, neat trick. Okay, I don't know if you tuned out and tuned back in. I remember you made a comment earlier, model number for the backpack that Mission Ranch makes. I don't know, but if you search, like with Google or something, Mystery Ranch 2-day pack, it'll come up. I think it was $170. I think it was somewhere in the 30s as far as liters or quarts, moon units, if you're into moon units. 30, 35 quarts. You'll find it. You're smart. You'll figure it out. Okay, we're 15 seconds away from an hour 45. That's way longer than I intended on going. I'm tired. I had to go do my job today, so it's been a long day. What time is it? It's almost 10. Great time to go to bed. Any last words before I kill this motherfucker? Of course, if you're just now tuning in, this recording will be on the channel later. So if you want to go catch the beginning where I was a little bit more sober, talk about things like main packs, like the FILBE, the ILBE, the large Alice pack, and then something smaller like the Eberly Stock Bandit. That will be in the recording. First 5 minutes and first 10 minutes, I'm just kind of bullshitting with the guys, and then I kind of get into those topics. The middle section of the video, I'm talking primarily about load-bearing equipment, things like the British PLCE, things like Alice gear. I didn't even bring up that Black Hawk rig that's right there. I need to make a video on that. You'll like it. I mentioned chest rigs. All right, looks like y'all are good. I'm good too. Thank you for being here. The 4 of you that are still here. Mr. Fistone, 23. I don't know. Dean, you've been here the whole time. Badass. Unless you've been in and out. Just don't tell me. And ZCSR is here. ZCSR says thank you for your service. No problem. This is what I do, apparently. All right. I think I've had enough. You've probably had enough. Y'all have a good night. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your socialist holiday on Monday. I mean, Labor Day on Monday. And hopefully I see you guys, maybe some of you, at the Midwest Preparedness Project Festival, September 7th. That's a Saturday next weekend, where I will be speaking at 10 a.m. about some of the stuff that I've talked about over the last hour and 45 minutes, but more sober. Thank you. This has been fun. I love these. This is a good time. Go to bed.